1923, during that period, we have this principal called Harlot. In fact, earlier than that, 1900, Harlot, this Harlot, the board, RI was ruled by a board of trustees. Today you call it the board of governors. RI, we have a board of governors. The principal has to report to him. So during the 1900, that time, we call it board of trustees. The board of trustees were thinking, we must make RI really a premier school. No more just ordinary arithmetic, reading, writing, that kind of thing. We must go up our gear already. So what they did the recruitment. They went to Cambridge and looked for graduate. Wow, I guess it's the first graduate to come to Singapore, to have a headmasters. The Anglican, St. Joseph, the Catholic, all that. They don't have Cambridge, that kind of thing, So this guy Harlot came with a Cambridge degree. He started to implement. So RI, what happened? We are actually we call it the elementary school. Elementary school, that means I teach you the 3 R's, we shift, become a secondary school. Then what happened to RI, those young boys, who will take care of those primary 5, primary 6, all that? We transfer them out. The government set up a few other schools. One of them is Outram. Another one is Telok Kurau, where Lee Kuan Yew came from. Then in Chinatown, we have another one, Pearl's Hill. Then Monk's Hill. We transfer all those primary school students to this few school. So this few school, we call them feeder. They feed RI, feeder school. They will feed RI. The student from here will come to RI, and then RI set up an entrance exam, no PSLE. RI will have an entrance exam. So this student will come to RI, sit for exam, and then in December that year, will let them know who are qualified. A letter will received by the school principal. Then the principal will announce, these 20 boys qualified for RI. Then the next year they report to RI. So RI moving away to secondary school. Don't want all the year 5, year 6, year 4, all that. All this primary school. We don't want them. Get into become a secondary school. And then introduce science subject, chemistry, physics. So in order to have this, you need to buy laboratory equipment. So this guy, together with the director of education, I told you, his office was in RI building itself. They start to upgrade RI from ordinary subject. Now we move into science. So far, okay. You see the role of RI play. It didn't happen in Hwa Chong, it didn't happen in SJI or even St. Andrew. So RI move to science, move to physics, all that. Add maths came in. Additional maths, we call it additional maths, add maths. Came in. So RI shift into here. While we are doing this, something happened in Penang also. We are under the Straits Settlement. Straits Settlement. A few countries involved. Singapore, Penang, Malacca. And then KL also came in. Kuala Lumpur also came in because the Straits, the British realized that Kuala Lumpur actually is a very rich place, and all the other states happen to be complicated into KL. No? So this one become a center. No? Although it's not part of Straits Settlement. So we have rotation. In Singapore, we are represented by RI. Penang, you have this Penang Free School. Malacca, they have this Malacca High School. KL, you have this Victoria Institution. Then the Straits Settlement shift the education. They're thinking that, hey, why don't we offer scholarship? All those who pass the senior Cambridge, that means year 4 is senior Cambridge. All those who pass, put them into a special class to sit for another test. And the best 2 candidates from these 4, KL, Malacca, Penang, Singapore, the 2 best students from those who took for the exam, they will be given a scholarship to study in UK. Any subject, any faculty. So they started this Queen's Scholarship thing. So far, okay. I'm trying to tell you how the whole thing moved, you know. These 200 years, now you understand, how come RI today was like this, you know. We see the shift. Okay, I got of this. This one don't look like an interview. But I mean, after this, then you can ask questions.
Okay.
So Straits Settlement, still under the British, under British rule. Singapore is a colony, okay, under British rule. So during the 1880s, they start this Queen's Scholarship thing. Queen's Scholarship. Only 2 places. They only offer 2 scholarships. 2 scholarships. So Singapore, Penang, Malacca, KL have to compete the student. So in Singapore, what happened? In Singapore, St. Andrew, SJI, St. Joseph, Raffles Girls, they don't have teachers to take on the new syllabus again, you know. Because it will not be tested just on ordinary maths, little bit higher. Literature introduced, geography was introduced. Ooh. Have literature, have geog, have history. Beside the maths, something new again. So only RI, the Director of Education, used RI to set up special class. And then this special class are only about 12 to 13 students only.
Sorry, Mr. Siu, can I just interrupt a bit? I want to give the students some background. Okay, for those of you who are listening to this, to Mr. Siu, who is very knowledgeable on the education system in Singapore, you need to have the background knowledge, all right, of how education started off in RI and also the other parts of Singapore where some of the schools like Outram and Pearl Hill and all this are the feeder school. So if you talk about education in Singapore, a lot of its roots stem from the school. We talk about Queen's Scholarship. That's why, Mr. Siu, I really think there is a project that is worthy of us contributing to SG 200. You know, the more I listen to this, the more we listen, the more we read. Of course, you guys being Sec 3 are totally detached from everything. First time you hear of Queen's Scholar, first time you hear of Penang Free School, first time you hear of VI, Victoria School. To you, you are the furthest away from it. But to him, it was from his generation. So I'm trying to bridge the generation gap here. Until you understand the whole of this education scenario in Singapore and how it all started, then you realize that, hey, you know, RI turning 200, is our education in RI, synonymous to education in Singapore? If it is, where are the areas of overlap? You talk about director education, which is like your director education today, Mr. Wong Soo Hoon sits in the Ministry of Education. Last time got no Ministry of Education, like a center, like a big, mothership of sort, So they all reside in RI. So RI is, to some degree, synonymous to Ministry of Education, where the principal, like Ambivaga principal, I think Hallett himself, when 1903, the school, from being looked after by a board of trustees, handed over to the government. Government don't know how to handle lah, so got Khaled to look after this school. So, after having heard all this, I hope you see the value of this school and its contribution to the larger community in Singapore. Many Singaporeans are right elitist school, are right unfair, taking the bright and the richest and the da 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 da. But times and contexts have changed. Can you all, as secretary, try to make the connection? You may feel that, hey, I'm here to talk to Mr. Siu about how we celebrate. You cannot get an answer of him if you do not know the background, and then you cannot create an activity or event that is, significant, meaningful, if you do not know the context. After learning the context, then you say, like this, wow, just having a performance, just having a concert on that day will not do justice to our 200. How can and what can our 200 tell the whole of the Singapore population? That is the power of it. You all are just doing one tiny little bit of project. You only know the tip of the iceberg. The bulk of the history of the school resides with the seniors here. So what he's trying to give you is the background info. So hopefully you all will look at it and understand it. In a way, you all are benefiting from his sharing. I'm also always benefiting every time he's sharing. Do you know that while I'm moving in and out, I'm trying to steal what is Mr. still sharing? I also want to learn. He talked about the Queen Scholars. Who are the Queen Scholars? Oh, for goodness sake. Today, even the Ministry of Education people, the young officers, the PSC scholars, the so-and-so who take the Ministry of Education scholarship for teaching, don't even know what is a Queen Scholarship or the Young Diploma Scholarship. None of them. That's why I see the value in us documenting some of these heritage stories, some of these important Singapore education stories. Singapore education is being looked at by many, many other countries as one of the most successful in the world. So what makes it so special? Can you replicate Singapore education in China, in US, in UK? You can take the books, you can buy the model math books and everything else, train the teachers and export the teachers and the books, but you cannot take the context of the history with it. There are many, many instances where even the person who formulated model maths concept came from RI, Mr. Hector Chi and his sets of books. So I tell you, if we can slowly document some of these things, we have got a potentially very powerful project, but no takers. No students wants to see it through, but I don't know never mind. So just bear in mind that there is a reason for all these background stories. Otherwise, you cannot just come in at this point and understand everything. Do you understand? So bit by bit, you must appreciate the history of RI, its place in education, its place in politics, its place in social economic. Why do you think today everybody is like looking at RI? Inequality the elitist school what is the elite school versus elitist school? Are we really elitist school? We started off in 1819 with Raffles with a vision, but he couldn't set up a school until 1823, 4 years later. And initially, the school was supposed to be targeted at the natives, the children of the governing people, the natives plus the East India Company. And already at its inception, it was not meant for everybody because it wasn't a very big school then. So we are a victim of our own creation, so to speak. I'm talking to 4 boys who don't know what is going on. Guys, when Mr. Siap is talking, the least you could do is to give me your eye contact. You look everywhere else so apologetic. In life, you have to be a bit more gung-ho, You will lose your scholarship to ACS boys. You will lose your scholarship to Hwa Chong boys. You are bright, you are capable, but you all are too timid. Try to ask questions. Try to be assertive. Try to be a little bit more informed. Holiday is the best time to get in touch and read up with whatever is in the news. I feel very sad for you all if you all don't come forward. This group is very self-driven, so we would like you guys to really, try to improve while doing your RE, expand your knowledge, be a bit more confident. All right, you're only in front of Mr. Siu, and Mrs. Yap, they're not going to eat you up. So ask questions, if you're not sure. Hey, sir, what is this thing about Queen Scholarship? Why is it called Queen and not King Scholarship? You all just sit there and accept. Ask lah. Why Queen? Why was it set up in the 1800? Who is this Queen we're talking about? We're talking about the British Empire. What is the coronation date? So these are things that is tied to your history. And then you bring in your history learning to RI school and some of our British kind of like cultural heritage. I need to give you the background. Otherwise, you're not going to benefit from what he's talking about. Is that clear, boys? So, Mr. Siu, they are only one bit. So if you give them a whole lot of things, you need to join the dots for them, Otherwise, they're all like zoned out already.
No problem.
Oh,
No problem.
yeah. Mrs. Yap wants to be here, but I have got to tend to Professor Tommy Koh, who is writing History of RI, Contribution of the Malays to RI. And then that in itself is a chapter already. You know what I mean? Wow. Fantastic. Okay, now.
So in Singapore, Queen Scholarship class, so SJI will send their best. St. Andrew send their best. And one of St. Andrew remarkable person who sent here, David Marshall, the Marshall block. David Marshall came. From St. Andrew. That means year 1 to year 4, he was from St. Andrew. Then he came over to RI just for 1.5 years to sit for the, we call it the special class, to sit for the scholarship exam. But he just missed it. But the year when he sat for his O-level equivalent, he topped Singapore. The junior exam, he topped Singapore, no, St. Andrew boys, not RI boy. The St. Andrew boy topped the whole school, Singapore. So David Marshall was one of them. Then from RGS, from MGS, Mrs. Lee Kuan Yew, Kwa Kiok Chu came. Kwa Kiok Chu. Then from ACS, this guy called Lim Kok An.
Mr. Su, it's so interesting revelation.
ACS, not going to come to RI because where else can they go? So only Director of Education will appoint certain RI teacher. You take physics, you take literature, you take geography, you take history. And just to teach 12 students, they say, wow, very expensive, man. Oh, just a small tutorial group. Oh, I have science teacher, English teacher, literature teacher, history teacher to take this class. Very expensive. And KL happened the same thing. At Malacca, also same thing happened. All the top students, they were sent to Penang preschool. Then RI will compete with them, So imagine every school, 1, 2, 3, 4, about 40 of them set for the exam. Only 2 of them will be awarded. So very prestigious, Then what happened, when you're awarded the Queen's Scholarship, if you're given a chance to go to UK, what will you study? British systems and universities already 300-400 years old already. Oxford, all that. What did Kwa Kiok Chu study? Mrs. Lee Kuan Yew? Law.
Very good. Yep, it's law.
How about Lim Kok An?
Medicine.
Yes, medicine.
Wow, very good.
You notice, Singapore, we don't have universities, We don't have. Until the 1920s, then we start to have Raffles College. Raffles College. This Raffles College only can award a diploma level. Just like polytechnics, that kind of standard. So in order to go to a degree level, then we're thinking to set up the university. So it's known as University of Malaya. It was known as University of Malaya. So Raffles College, together with the medicine department of medicine, merged, we formed a University of Malaya at Bukit Timah. So this one started to offer degree courses. And they took away some RI teachers, very good in maths. The Indian with that degree or that, very good in maths. Then how about before University of Malaya was set up? Where do our great-grandfather get their degrees? So to get this English degree, some went to UK. In Asia, which country offer English degree? Singapore not in yet. Can you guess? Also a British rule place.
India.
No. India already have it. They have it. What we did, our Singapore Indian citizen, they never go back to India to study, but instead RI went to recruit the Indian went to recruit the Indian maths teacher, physics, chemistry a bit difficult because chemistry you need to buy chemicals, all that. In a poor country, it become an expense item. So to the poor country, maths, physics are easy. Just to explain the theory. Which country in the East, some of our great-grandfather went there for our English education.
Hong Kong.
British education. In the East, the British colonized a place through the Opium War.
Hong Kong.
Hong Kong.
Yep, very good. I'm getting it already.
You see?
The connection.
Our great-grandfather at that time, not even Raffles College, where to go? Other than the two Queen scholars who went off, then the rest of RI gifted class, 40 of us, where we going to go? So somebody to Hong Kong for the British education system. Then how about the Chinese Act? Big Sun Teng, all this, the Hokkien, last time was not called Hua Zhong, we call it Chinese High. Chinese High School, Zhongjing, River Valley, Hua Yi. What happened to them? The Chinese Act, where they get their syllabus from? Now we talk about the Chinese. Where do the Chinese get their syllabus? Can you guess?
China.
Exactly. So from China. You see, besides our father uneducated one, there are also those who are very literated one came, They came, they had the Cantonese, they had the Hokkien, they had the Teochew, they came. And they set up the clan. Hokkien, Quảng Huy啦, Quảng Phu Nhân嘅工會啦, Teochew Lang the association. Then they said, hey, we set up school. Oh, very simple. They start to recruit really qualified teachers. Where the syllabus? Wow, well established one from China. The books. Hey, the Chinese education is very good, because I told you, the British only want us to learn 3 R's only. But the Chinese learn about Tao Te, Confucianism, history of China, Qing Chao, all that kind of thing, You notice? The Chinese said learn more and then tell you how to be a 做人, 怎么样做人, 什么叫做教育, Wow. So imagine, when I spent my year 1, my primary 1, I was in a Chinese school, I was in a Chinese school, but then that was in 1959. 1959, Malaya got their independence, 1957, self-rule. Self-rule. That means the British after the war, the British, their empire, the power all dropped really. No more that strong. And then a lot of colonized countries want that independent, a national movement. So Malaya was independent in 1957. In 1959, the British said, okay, Singapore, self-rule. Self-rule. We cannot straight away tell you, you take over your rule. You become the principal of RI. You organize your HOD, all that. They said gradually we hand over to you. Self-rule. which are the two department or ministry that the British never handed over to us? They tell you self-rule, but two things, two of the important department, we still under our charge.
Oh, we learned this for history in year 2, but I forgot already.
Defense.
Defense,
Defense. One more?
finance, the economy.
No.
Education.
Not finance.
Education.
No.
Health.
No.
Foreign affairs.
Foreign affairs. These foreign affair things affects because the British they want the whole Commonwealth to have the same. We must have the same opinions, the same agenda. I mean, we recognize one China, and then Singapore say recognize two China. Then something wrong, right? So foreign affair. Now the next thing I want to go to. Economy, look at economy and education. The economy and education must go in line one, you know. That means what I want is the economy. I need people. People is our only resource. So in order to improve our Singaporean workers' productivity, I cannot just teach them up to year 2 enough already, you know. Upgrade them so that they can do more jobs, more productivity. No? So because of this economy getting into industrialization, we need to industrialize. Going into manufacturing. Don't make all this, making pen, making all this very cheap thing, you know. We must manufacture expensive thing. So industrialize. To industrialize, we need engineers. So they say, hey, before we really industrialize, make sure we get ready our engineers, train them, educate them. So education comes in. So science subjects start to have, we start to have pure maths, advanced maths, applied maths. Then physics, chem still the same. Then for those who need to do medicine, we have botany, we have zoology subjects. Additional subjects come in. New subjects were introduced so that these engineers, to get to these engineers, our education system cannot be just only RI. We have to set up poly. We have to set up another U. So you have NTU comes in. Then before all this thing happened, 1959, LKY came into power. And he was an ex-RI boy. You see, it's very difficult for him to talk to Hwa Chong student, you know. Because Hwa Chong, I hope you don't mind I say that, Hwa Chong, the Chinese ad, number one, they are anti-British one, you know. Because the British say so, you know, hey, you are a servant, you must call me sir. I am your master, you must call me sir. And then the British in the school in RI happens like this, you know. The British teacher call themselves, I'm a master in geography, I'm a master in physics. But you local guy, you are only a teacher in geography. You are only a teacher in this. Hey, same qualification, you know, they all pass, got a diploma, all that. But they say, oh, you're different. You only can call yourself a teacher in physics. I'm a master's in physics. And then in the staff room, teacher's room, separated, you know. The Chinese, the Indian, the Malay teachers one side, the British will be in another cozy corner. Toilets also separate. And then those days are allowed to smoke, you know. The British, as an ordinary teachers at the time, they smoke cigarette. Ordinary tobacco cigarette. When they're promoted, become senior masters, next promotion become principal, They change to pipe. They change to pipe. They smoke pipe. Pipe is very interesting. You put tobacco, the whole process sound like, wow, this fellow smoke. Not just take out a cigarette and like it. He must open the tin, put some tobacco leaf, tap, like a match, and he start to puff. What he's trying to tell you, I'm a higher class than you, They're so class conscious, So the Chinese look at it, how can this British, the way they behave really. In fact, trace back to China history, during the 1920s or even earlier, the Opium War make the Chinese very angry of the British. How can you introduce drugs, and these drugs are opium, almost destroy the southern part of China, the people. Wow, drugs addict. And Hong Kong, because of the Opium War, 100 years given to the British. Opium War. So to the Chinese, they came to Singapore, all that, came to Nanyang. It's because of the Opium War. Situation back in China was so bad, Looking for jobs was so difficult, all that. So there's a migration of people coming here. So when they come here, they want to set up their own school. And they saw Singapore also ruled by the British, That kind of sentiment stuff never disappeared, It harbors in them. So Lee Kuan Yew, when he's over to self-rule, take over from the British, he has a very challenging task, He wants to have English as the main medium of education. Because this is the only thing that you can unite people. We must speak the same lingo. Then we must have the same kind of a policies matter. And then to communicate, I think we better speak English. I speak English, you 讲华语, after that I don't know what you understand, we might have miscommunication. So slowly phase out this Chinese education thing. Phase out. Even phase out Nanyang University. Wow, a lot of resentment. Can you imagine that? So during the 1959 onward, from the Chinese side, then what the government did to RI? Wow. Prime Minister came to talk to our assembly, Our ministers, our founders days, Minister of Education, another year Minister of Culture, President Yusof. Our founders says a big shot coming in. And all these big shots, when they come, the focus will be on RI. The government must hold on to RI, make sure you don't turn your change affected by your Hwa Chong friends, you might be affected by your uncles who are Nanta student, all that. Tell you the British no good, this no good, that no good. We should, anti-government they come. So get off RI first. 1959 onwards, Goh Chok Tong was a student only in RI. And he invited Lee Kuan Yew to come and give a talk. And Lee Kuan Yew came in and talked to the year 5, year 6 student for general paper. We have this subject called general paper, GP. Talk about national policies, what is politics, what is economy about. I think now that we are self-ruled, we are going to be independent, later on British hand over to us, we must take care of all our bread and butter. And to rule a country not easy, Education, housing, take care of your health, then got to take care of the country, defense, all that. So internally, we must try to settle and to prepare for the country move to the next phase of industrialization, all that. Lee Kuan Yew got all the Commonwealth countries, a few major ones, Australia, New Zealand, Canada, UK, to offer us scholarship places. So scholarship in what engineering field? Mechanical. Can you guess the next one? Engineering.